has been quite a while since I last checked in on YouTube. Frankly, I kind of started hyper fixating on another hobby and put the camera down and just never picked it back up in March. I have some exciting news though in that vein. I started writing a book and I'm not gonna lie, like it isn't really going, I wouldn't say it's not going well. I would say that I have been making some good progress this month. However, writing a book is a really long, slow process and it takes a lot of time and commitment. So it's been really hard and time consuming on top of already working a full-time job. And I do want to keep doing that. However, I think that I need to give myself a little bit more grace when it comes to, I don't need to be spending all of my time writing the book after work. I still want to be reading. I honestly didn't do that much reading in March. It's now April. And I really want to get back into reading because that was like my original, book love that I had. And I feel like I kind of was neglecting it last month. So I really want to get back into that this month, pick up the camera at least a few times, film some short videos. I really want to keep up this channel. I might not post as often as I was just because I don't really think posting like 2 times a week or sometimes even once a week is feasible for me with writing a book and working a full-time job. So I just want to be realistic with myself. I don't want to have unrealistic goals and expectations for what I'm capable of. But that being said, I do really quick kind of want to talk about the books that I did read in March. I honestly don't even remember how many there were. There might have only been 2. I read Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and then I also read Realm Breaker by Victoria Aveyard. I really enjoyed Red Queen. I think I ended up giving it like 4.25 stars or 4 stars, something like that. Really enjoyed it. I think that it was perhaps not as complex as like I wish it was in terms of the story. I think it was pretty I guess guessable. Like I somehow did not have Red Queen spoiled for me this entire time, even though Red Queen came out like when I was like, I don't even know. I think it was like 2015, so I must have been 13 years old. I was like a pretty young teenager when it came out, and I remember like everyone was talking about it. It was a really big book series in the book community, and somehow, even after all this time, I never was spoiled on like what happened. Even though that was the case, I feel like what happened, I guessed what was gonna happen at the end very early on. So it wasn't super, I guess, shocking in that sense. So for that reason, it wasn't a 5 stars, but I did have a lot of fun. I'm pretty sure I read it in literally one day. I think that says something about a book if I'm able to just binge it because I'm not usually a book binger. So if I can just sit down and read a book in one day, that means that that book is very good. Realm Breaker is her more recent series. I think it came out in like 2020 or 2021. And she just released the last book in the series, which is called Fate Breaker. So it's Realm Breaker, Blade Breaker, and then Fate Breaker. I read the first one, Realm Breaker, this month, and it was really good for what it was. It's a quest fantasy, a YA quest fantasy. And I don't know if I've ever really read a quest fantasy before. And since it's YA, like there's not a lot of, extreme, violence. There's not a lot of, I guess, adult topics going on. So I was kind of worried that maybe I wouldn't be interested in it because the type of fantasy that I usually read is like ACOTAR, Fourth Wing, books like that. I do like YA fantasy. Like I really liked Shatter Me, but I feel like YA fantasy, I almost prefer like a dystopian YA fantasy, if that makes sense, where there's like magic and fantastical elements, but it almost takes place in like a futuristic dystopian world. That's kind of what I think Shatter Me does well. I do really like Red Queen. I think that also does that kind of vibe well. So I've never read a quest fantasy in this sense. I heard from Miss Victoria Aveyard herself because I follow her on TikTok. I love all of her content about writing books, reading books, like I just love it. So I was really like wanting to read her newest series. She was saying that it's like a crossover between Lord of the Rings and Guardians of the Galaxy. And now having read the book, I would definitely say that that's a really good characterization of what the book is about. I will say that if you are like really the type of person who like needs a lot of romance in a fantasy for it to be interesting for you, I wouldn't recommend this book because there's really not a lot of romance going on. Like you get the tiniest little snippets. And when I say tiniest, I mean tiniest throughout. And so you kind of know that she's planting these seeds. But Miss Aviard has said many times on her TikTok that she is a lover of slow burn. So if that's not your cup of tea and you don't want to have to read multiple books to get to the romance, I probably would not recommend this book. It's very long. It's like 560 pages and it is truly just a quest. Like the entire time they are going from place to place to accomplish a goal. You know, there were definitely parts where I felt like maybe it was dragging a little bit and I wasn't as invested. And it did take me a long time to complete this book because, like I said, it's not really my cup of tea. Like I said earlier, I like romance in fantasy and I've never really read something like this where there's not really romance in the forefront. So it was definitely like challenging for me in terms of it's something I've never really read before and it's more like true fantasy and not romantasy. I ended up giving it a 4 stars. I think for what it was and what it set out to do, it was fantastic and it did what it intended to do extremely well. Do I think I'm going to continue with the series? 100%. I think I am because I am really invested in this like whole found family aspect that she's got going on in these books. Which is something that I think she does really well in her books. So I am going to continue on the series and I always like to get a little bit outside of my comfort zone when I read if I can. So I think this is a little bit outside my comfort zone, but I definitely am attached to the characters. I'm intrigued and I want to continue on in the series. I'm pretty sure those are the only 2 books that I read last month. I kind of failed at my TBR like miserably, so I might kind of do a little bit of a TBR in this video. This is kind of just going to be like an all-in-one video of like, I'm back, you know what I mean? I might give you some updates about writing my book along the way throughout this vlog. But as of now, I am going to go work for the day. But one of the main reasons that I wanted to update you right now is because I am officially starting Throne of Glass. I finished, oh, actually, maybe I didn't talk about this. I read A Court of Silver Flames. I did finish that. 5 stars. 5 stars. I loved it. Loved it. I wouldn't say it's my favorite in the series because I just don't know if anything will ever top Akamov, but it might be my second favorite in the series. I think I just really connected to Nesta as a character. A lot of her struggles I feel like are pretty relatable, especially like as a young woman. So there were certain parts that just really hit home and really like pulled my heartstrings. Loved that book. 5 stars. I cried left and right. Just a fantastic series and I'm really just dying to get my hands on the next one. I know that Sarah J Maas is writing it right now, so. But the news that I wanted to share is that I am officially starting Throne of Glass. I have personally decided that I'm going to read Throne of Glass first before I read Assassin's Blade. A lot of people recommend reading Assassin's Blade before reading Throne of Glass. But Miss Sarah J Maas herself on her website has said that the reading order is Throne of Glass, then, what is it, Crown of Midnight? Then Assassin's Blade. Like she, on her website says that Assassin's Blade is the 3rd book. So I'm going to start with Throne of Glass. I'm going to follow the reading order that's on her website. And yeah, hopefully nobody yells at me for that, but that's just what I'm going to do because I trust her and I trust her vision for the order of the books. So yeah, I've got my annotating tabs here and I'm actually going to annotate the entire series the first way through because honestly it's a very long series and so I don't know when I'll be able to reread it, probably not until at least next year. So very exciting. One of my best friends, Mandy, is also reading this book right now and I'm really excited because we can talk about it together. I got her into reading ACOTAR and she read the entire series in like a few weeks and now we are both just Sarah J Maas obsessed together and it's fantastic because now I can talk to her about everything that happened and I just love that. There's nothing better. I've been getting like every one of my friends into Sarah J Maas. I just love talking about it and it's so wonderful to be able to talk about it with the people that I love the most. So I'm going to start reading Throne of Glass. I'm already like 4 pages in. I'm going to update you throughout the vlog. Hopefully by the end of this vlog I will have Throne of Glass completed. taking a break from work to go on a little bit of an errand. I am going to go to Barnes & Noble and Dunkin' because I really want another coffee. I didn't take my ADHD medication today, so I'm feeling a little understimulated, if you will. But I did want to give you a quick update on how Throne of Glass is going. Am I the only one, like whenever I'm reading a book, if I'm really enjoying the book, I will like physically bring the book with me everywhere because it's like a comfort. So I don't know if that's weird, but that's just what I do. I am eating this book up, eating it up. And like I said earlier, I know a lot of people will probably be upset with me about the reading order that I'm doing, that I'm not reading Assassin's Blade first. But I don't know, I don't know what happens in Assassin's Blade, but I am eating Throne of Glass up. I'm really enjoying it. Nothing is really like confusing or anything. Not that I thought it would be, because I know that, you know, it was originally intended, like Sarah J. Maas says, to read Throne of Glass first. So I assume that, you know, it would make sense. I'm really enjoying it. Like, I'm flipping the pages. I'm already like 85 pages into the book, which is like, I think 20%. I'm loving it. I am loving the dynamic between the characters. I'm loving Selena. I think that's how you say her name. The main character. I'm loving her as a character. I think she's so kind of outwardly arrogant, but also like inwardly critical, if that makes sense, and like inwardly not afraid, but I guess a little bit like fearful about her future. And so I'm really liking this like dynamic that they've got going on, where she's, you know, comes off really confident and really almost like cocky, but she's really like, you know, dealing with some turmoil like inside. And I just feel like the setting is really well done. Like, I was able to picture everything very well. I think the like movement from one setting to another is done really well. Like, I'm not confused on where we are, which I think a lot of times does happen. I could honestly see myself finishing this book like within the next day or two, because it is so addicting. Like, I just don't want to put it down. I also really love the chapters are pretty short. So I don't feel like it's like dragging out. I don't feel like the chapters are like really hard to get through. And for me personally, like I've said a million times with ADHD, short chapters are my favorite because it's so easy to get through. And it almost feels like you're reading the book quicker because, you know, there's a little break in between each like plot point. Morning, everybody. It is the next day. I'm getting ready for work, but I thought I would give you an update on how Throne of Glass is going. To nobody's shock or surprise, I am utterly obsessed with this book. I started it yesterday and I'm already almost 250 pages into it. That's literally from one day of reading, so if that says anything about how I feel about the book. I am really enjoying it. I'm kind of enjoying, I think I'm like shockingly really enjoying the main like conflict that's going on right now in the story, because I'm usually like super invested in the romance aspects of these kinds of books, but this is like a YA book, so the romance isn't like as prevalent, I guess you could say, as it is in like ACOTAR. So that means like when it's in a chapter, it just makes it hit even more, because I'm like, you don't get a lot of it. So I'm really enjoying it. It's truly addicting. I sat down last night and probably read for like 5 hours straight, did not move. It was incredible. And I keep thinking to myself, like, I'll start doing something and that's like not reading, and then I'll just think to myself like, oh, I really wish I was reading right now because I just want to pick up the book again. I really love the main character, Selena. She's so badass and she is just really funny and like has really good comebacks, which I appreciate because she knows how to put a man in their place, and I always appreciate that in a female main character. And I also like that, you know, she's an assassin, and so she has this like automatic credibility, and that's kind of funny to me to like know that, because not everyone, you know, is as afraid of her as maybe they should be. And I kind of like that aspect because they kind of consider her weak. They're gonna regret that, and you know they're gonna regret that. I guess there's like kind of two main male characters. I'm loving the whole love interest dynamic that's going on right now. It's really just enthralling. And yeah, it's like hard to go into specifics, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't read the series yet. But that is basically, you know, what I'm thinking about the book so far. I'm about to do my skincare. I'm gonna show you what I use because my skin has gotten so much better. I don't know if I have anything on my face right now, but my skin has improved so much, I think, since the last time I vlogged. I don't even know if you can really see. Like, this kind of looks like acne, but it's really just acne scars, and the same thing over here. My skin has just improved so much, and I figured I would share like what I've been using. So if you also have acne, maybe this could help you. I started using the Dr. Dennis Gross. This is the Alpha Beta AHA BHA Daily Cleansing Gel. And this is what it looks like. It is magnificent, literally wonderful. This is the best cleanser I have ever used. After that, in the mornings, I don't use this because it's a little, I guess, like rough on your skin. I only use this at night, but I use these Replenix. I think it's like a mixture of like glycolic acid and salicylic acid, and there's like these clarifying pads. So it has like some exfoliant in it because it's got glycolic and salicylic acid, and it's really great for acne. This I think is the thing that's cleared up my acne. And then I use at night the Neutrogena Hydro Boost. This is the fragrance-free one. I don't usually like to put fragrance on my face if I can help it, but this is like a hyaluronic acid, which is really hydrating, and I was having extremely dry skin before that. Also, in between the salicylic glycolic clarifying pads and this, I do use tretinoin, which is prescribed by my dermatologist. So if you're having really bad acne, I would definitely get on it. It's drying for sure, like it dries your skin out, but I have found the cure because this moisturizer, the Laneige Water Bank, and this is the intensive moisturizer, is life-changing. I literally was not able to wear makeup for the last like month because my skin was so dry and no moisturizer. Like, I was putting on so much moisturizer and my skin was still peeling underneath it, and like when I put makeup on, you could see like dead skin underneath the makeup. I started using this and now I can wear makeup again. It's actually crazy. So this is probably the best moisturizer I have ever used. And that's saying something because I was really nervous to try out something that wasn't like CeraVe or La Roche-Posay or something like that. But I'm telling you, this Laneige moisturizer has changed my life. So in the morning, I just do the cleanser and the moisturizer, and then I do a sunscreen, which is usually just the Unseen sunscreen from Supergoop. But I also have this Elta MD sunscreen. I just don't think this sits really well under makeup, but I would consider wearing this to the beach if I wasn't gonna wear makeup or anything. So if I'm not wearing makeup that day, then I'll wear this one, but the Unseen I think sits a lot better under makeup and like has a better texture for makeup. Hi friends, I'm done with work for the day. It's a Friday. You know that means I'm going to spend the rest of the evening finishing Throne of Glass. Yesterday I read like 250 pages, and then on my lunch break today I just like read, I don't even know how many, but a lot of pages, and I only have a little bit left of the book. Like, I literally cannot stop reading it. So I'm going to sit here as long as it takes to finish the book, and I will update you when I'm done and let you know what I think. I can already tell this is going to be a 5-star book for me. I'm obsessed with it. I am just flying through it. Like, it just holds my attention. Even if nothing really exciting is happening, like, I'm still really like enthralled in the story and really invested in what's going on. Although I will say, like, most of the time there is something going on, but I think this book just does such a great job at showing and not telling what's going on. And I really love the dialogue between the characters. I think there's some really good banter. I really like how she takes the time to build relationships between characters over time instead of just like, you know, throwing them together and then suddenly they like each other. I just think that she does character relationships like no other. And I am finding great comfort and just joy from this book. And that's just what you love about reading. I am a Sarah J. Maas stan. I don't understand how some people think that she is a bad writer or that her books are bad. Even if this isn't, you know, your cup of tea, I don't think anybody could sit here and say that this isn't a fantastic book overall and that she's not a fantastic writer. Yeah, honestly, I didn't think that anything could come close to ACOTAR for me, like the entire series, but this is right up there with it. And I know that the series is only going to get better from here on out, so I just like her talent is just next level. Hi everyone, it is now Monday, April 8th. It's been a few days. This weekend I really didn't have much time to read. It was just a really busy weekend, but I thought I would update you on how things are going. I know the last time we talked I was about to finish Throne of Glass. I have since finished Throne of Glass. Here she is. And all I have to say is that I absolutely ate this book up from start to finish. Could not put it down. I read this book in 2 sittings. I sat down one day, read half of it, sat down the next day, read the other half. This book is so good. It's so addicting. It really holds your attention from the beginning. I loved the main character. I felt like her kind of internal struggles and thoughts were relatable in a sense, not like necessarily in her like life and what she's been through, but relatable in the way that she thinks. I really appreciated how she was just really quick-witted and she had really good comebacks, and there's a lot of humor in here that I really appreciated and that I annotated. So yeah, as for rating, I gave this book 5 stars. I loved it, and the reason I gave it 5 stars is because I literally could not put it down. Like, somebody would have had to pry this book out of my fingers for me to not finish it when I did. So I just had to give it 5 stars because it just had that feeling, that pure joy feeling when you're reading where you just like cannot put a book down, and you know, nothing feels like it's ever going to replicate that feeling. I had that 5-star feeling while I was reading this. And you know, some people say this isn't their favorite in the series, like they rate this one 4 stars or 3 stars, and then the ones later in the series they rate 5 stars. And it's kind of the same thing for me with ACOTAR. Like, the first book, I rated it a 5 stars, but looking back, I probably wouldn't have rated it as high because I also rated like Akamov 5 stars, and in my mind, Akamov is way better than ACOTAR. But it's also like, in the moment, it was a 5 stars because I was enthralled. I had the 5-star feeling. So I'm not going to change the rating, even though I know that the books later in the series might be better, if that makes sense, because it still gave me that feeling, and I still, knowing what I knew at the moment, like, found it to be a 5-star read. So yeah, if you guys have not read Throne of Glass, 100% recommend. I think it's incredible. The short chapters are amazing. I love short chapters. It makes it so much quicker. I felt like I was flying through this. This book is over 400 pages and I read it so quickly in the middle of the week while I'm working a full-time job. So I think that says a lot about how intriguing and just enthralling this book is. I loved all the characters. I liked how you're not really sure who you're rooting for sometimes. I kind of liked that. I like the morally gray characters. I liked that Selena herself is kind of morally gray. I just find it so shocking that people have been recommending this book to me for so long and I've heard so much about it, like the series as a whole online, but I had no idea what this book was about. And like going into it, I was like shocked because it was nothing like I thought it was going to be. But in that sense, it was just so much better. And the writing is just incredible. Like it's so fast paced. It's so poetic. There's so many just really beautiful moments. And I just love that. I love how Sarah J Maas is able to write so concisely, but also so powerfully. After I finished that, I started Crown of Midnight, which is book 2. As I mentioned earlier, I have decided to read it in the order that Sarah J Maas has on her website. The reading order that she recommends is Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, then Assassin's Blade. So that's what I'm going to do. And I have also been annotating this. I am 115 pages into this book, and I am eating it up just the way I was with Throne of Glass. I will say Throne of Glass really, I guess, you jump into the plot immediately. Like there's no backstory really. You're kind of just like thrown into the plot, which I really like that because sometimes backstory can be really repetitive and boring and not as like action packed. So I really liked that Throne of Glass, the first book, you're really just thrown in and you just kind of like learn as you go. And for me personally, that's my favorite way to approach a novel. This book I feel like has a lot more introductory information going on, which is cool. Like a lot of times in a series they need to kind of recap what happened in the last book in a way that's not like here's what happened or here's what you missed in the first book, like an episode. I will say at the beginning I was a little not bored. I wouldn't say I was bored, but I just wasn't as like my attention wasn't as kept as it was in Throne of Glass. So the beginning was just a tad slow, but I don't think that I'm going to fault the book for that because I think it's necessary in a series to go back and make sure that your readers, you know, remember what happened in the first book because you never know how much time people are taking in between each book. Other than that, there's a lot of interesting plot going on. I'm not really sure how she's going to build off of the first book in this book yet, but I think we are getting there. And by I think we are getting there, I mean like I think within the next couple of chapters something is going to happen that is going to explain kind of where the rest of the series is going to go from the first book, at least where this book is going to go and maybe the next one, because I honestly like feel, and this is how I felt with ACOTAR too, I'm like, where could she possibly take this after what happened? Because I feel like everything was wrapped up really nicely. I mean, obviously, like, we understood, like, what was going to happen at the end, and I'm trying to be very vague here, but if you have read the book, you kind of know what I'm saying. We kind of knew what would happen at the end, and so it's kind of just like, is she just going to carry out what, you know, the plan was all along, or is it going to be something crazy that's going to happen and kind of throw everything off track? So we're getting little bits and pieces here and there. I also thought real quick I would just show you some of the books that I bought recently. A little mini haul, so we'll go over that. First we have You with a View by Jessica Joyce. I heard that this book is pretty good. I know Destiny Sidwell read this book and she's one of my favorite booktubers and she gave it like 4 stars, so I trust her rating and I think this is going to be a good book to read as it gets warmer out. Just a quick romance. We have The Rule Book by Sarah Adams. She's the same author who wrote When in Rome, and I really liked that book. So another book that I want to read maybe when I'm on vacation in May. Then we have another romance. This is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Everyone is raving about this book. Everyone always talks about how great Abby Jimenez is. So I think this is going to be the first book of hers that I'm going to read, and a lot of people have been rating it 5 stars. So I have high hopes for this book. I have kind of high expectations. Next we have The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. Holly Jackson is like the queen of YA mystery thrillers. So I just thought I'd pick this up because sometimes I want to read a thriller or a mystery. So when I'm in the mood, I thought maybe this summer, if it's nighttime, if it's raining, this could be the vibe. So picked this up. Then I got The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. A lot of people are rating this really highly, and it's pretty short and sweet, so I just figured like if I ever just wanted a short and sweet, more like cozy fantasy type of book, this might be the one. So recently I read Realm Breaker, which I think I talked about in the beginning of this video. I did get Blade Breaker and Fate Breaker, which are the last two in the trilogy. I don't know when I'm going to get to these, but I definitely want to finish the series, so I have these on my bookshelf now. I started reading this one, but then I decided that I wanted to read Throne of Glass, so I kind of put it down, but I'm hoping to read this summer. Then we have The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen, and this I've heard is absolutely fantastic. A lot of people say it's super underrated and they don't know why people aren't talking about it more. So I ordered it on Amazon. I'm pretty sure this is like a self-published version of this book. I don't know if it ever got picked up by a publisher. And then lastly, I got A Shadow Crown by Melissa Blair. I just saw this in the romantasy section, so I figured I'd pick it up. But honestly, I'm really in my romantasy era, if you cannot tell. And I have been for a long time. It's just such a good genre. All of my most recent 5-star reads have been this genre, although I will say I honestly haven't read like just a straight romance in a while, so I need to kind of pick one of those up and take a break from fantasy. I thought that this would be a good romantasy book to try out maybe in the fall time. So I am going to continue reading Crown of Midnight. Today is the total solar eclipse, so I'm excited to see that. We got some eclipse glasses. Luckily, we live in an area where we can see it very well, so that's exciting. There's going to be a lot of frenzy about the eclipse. I'm excited to see the pictures of it after and the videos that people take and all the stuff that NASA is going to release. I'm a little bit of a nerd about those things, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm also hoping to get some work done on my book today. I still need to kind of tell you guys all about that, but I'm not really in the mood to talk about it right now. So maybe later in this video I will go more in depth about my book and what's going on with that. Hello everyone. I am going to get a proper coffee, and I thought I would chat with you along the way about my book. So a few weeks ago I had an idea for a book, and it wasn't really like I had an idea, it was more like inspiration struck for me. And I want to kind of normalize that because I feel like most people who have written a book or are writing a book, when they talk about, you know, how did you come up with the idea for your book? They just kind of like have this story like, oh, I dreamt about it, or this idea just struck me out of nowhere. And for me, it wasn't really like that. Like, I'm not the type of creative person where I can just like have an idea about it. You know what I mean? So I kind of had the opposite thing happen to me, where I got the inspiration to be like, oh, you know what? I kind of want to write something. Like, I want to write a story. I want to have a story of my own creation. the process kind of happened backwards, I guess, for me then, because once I got that inspiration, I was like, okay, it's go time. I want to write a story right now. So I kind of sat down and just brainstormed, like, what could my story be about? And over time, I pieced together an idea. It took a while to come up with, and a lot of things, you know, I'm still figuring out as I go. We're in the very early stages of this book. Like, I have, quite honestly, I haven't written a ton of it. I'm still working on the intro, like, Act 1 section of the book. So it's not like a full thing or anything like that. I don't know if it'll ever see the light of day. I just think it's fun to have something like a hobby that you like to do in your free time. And this is something that I, you know, when I was younger, I always used to think, oh, it'd be so cool to be an author, but I just never thought it was like a realistic dream or a realistic goal. Anyways, that's been my process. I guess a little bit about the book. So it is a fantasy romance book because that is my favorite genre to read, and most advice you get from authors if you like ever want to write a book is going to say something along the lines of, number one, what I just said, just write the first draft, but number two, write the book that you want to read. So I read a lot of fantasy romance. It's my favorite genre by far. So I am going to write that because that's what I know and that's what I like and that's what I'm passionate about reading. So I will give you a little bit of like an overview of like what the book's about, but honestly, I'm not going to go too in depth because number one, I don't want anybody to take my idea. Number two, I don't know if anything is going to change, and a lot of things aren't set in stone. But basically, it's almost like something that takes place, not necessarily in the future, but after society as we know it has collapsed, and this is kind of the world that comes to fruition. And that way I would say it's more similar to like Red Queen. And the way that I'm kind of like, I guess, pitching the book is like Red Queen meets Throne of Glass. So that's kind of the vibe that I'm giving with this book. That's all I'm gonna say about the book. I obviously like want to share as much as I can with you guys because it's hard, but I am gonna be very, you know, careful with what I say about it, and maybe I'll share more in the future. But I just wanted to share a little bit, let you guys know how it's going. Hi everyone, I was just in Target. I took a little clip while I was in there, but I figured I would just show you what I got. So they're having a buy two get one free sale, and thanks to my bestie Mandy for telling me about that because we are both reading Throne of Glass right now and we're both on Crown of Midnight, but I only have Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, and Assassin's Blade. I don't have the rest of the series. So I went and got the rest of it. I got Heir of Fire, Tower of Dawn, and Empire of Storms. I didn't get Kingdom of Ash because they didn't have it. If they did have it, I probably would have gotten it. But I figured I could just order that later. And plus it was buy two, get one free. So it worked perfectly with the deal. I also got some snacks because one thing about me is that I need a sweet treat constantly. If I don't have a sweet treat, I get really annoyed. So I got a few of my favorite sweet treats. These are my favorite cookies. Tate's Bake Shop gluten-free chocolate chip cookies. If you guys didn't know, I eat gluten-free. My stomach does not agree with gluten. I don't know what's going on there, but it's a whole thing. So anyway, chocolate chip cookies, these are the best. And I got these Unreal. These are like basically fake Reese's, but they're made out of dark chocolate, which I really like dark chocolate, like better than regular chocolate. I also got a new Alani flavor to try. This is Dream Float. I've never tried this one before, but I think this might be a new one. I tried their like orange flavor the other day and I actually really liked it. So I don't know what this one's gonna be, but I think I might have heard somewhere that it's supposed to be almost like an orange creamsicle. So we'll see how that goes, but I could be totally wrong about that. I might be thinking of another flavor. But then I also got a value pack of fruit snacks because I'm literally a child. So that's what we're dealing with. I'm gonna go home so I can start reading Crown of Midnight again. It's going so well. Shit is going down. I'm so excited. I'm really excited because, like I said, my bestie Mandy and I are reading the series at the same time. So I'm a little bit ahead of her. Sorry, ignore that beeping. My like key battery for my car is dying. I'm a little bit ahead of her, and so I'm hoping that she'll like catch up to me today so we can talk about it, because so much is happening, and it's so fun when your best friend is like reading the same book as you at the same time, because you can chat about it and just like you get all giddy and excited. It's amazing. It's so much fun. I'm like sweating. It's getting warm out, guys. Anyways, that's my Target haul. Nothing too exciting, but just really excited about Throne of Glass. I'm loving it so far. I gave Throne of Glass 5 stars. Reading Crown of Midnight, loving it, eating it up. So I think this month is just going to be a really great book month for me, because I'm in the middle of Throne of Glass for the first time. I'm doing my first read through of it, and I'm also currently reading Wild Love by Elsie Silver, which a lot of people are rating 5 stars, so I'm really excited about that. I also want to read Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, which a lot of people are also rating 5 stars. And then we also have Funny Story by Emily Henry coming out on April 23rd. And on top of all of that, the Tortured Poets Department is coming out April 19th. So this is just gonna be a great month. I'm going on vacation in early May, so I'm just gonna basically take all these books with me, and it's just gonna be wonderful. I'm just gonna sit on the beach, read all these summery books, listen to the Tortured Poets Department. It's gonna be the best time ever. It's gonna be amazing. I'm gonna eat some cookies and drive home. That's my plans for the night. It's already like 9:30, but I'm probably gonna stay up late because I seriously need to know what's gonna happen next. Like, it's actually crazy. Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, April 12th. It is 5:36 in the morning, and I'm going to the gym. If I'm being honest with you guys, it has been a while since I've been to the gym. I've been running here and there, but I'm feeling motivated today. I'm going on vacation in less than a month, so kind of feel like I want to get back into the gym. Also, you ever have a night where you just snack like nobody's business? That was me last night, so I'm feeling a little guilty about that. I think I might either just walk on an incline for 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes, or I might just do the elliptical and try to go for like a long time. But either way, I'm gonna get dressed and ready to go, and then we're going to the gym. Okay, this is what I'm wearing. Just a black tank top and black leggings. This is literally from Target. The leggings are from Aerie. And then on top, I'm gonna wear my Massiverse sweatshirt, which I'm obsessed with. I'm pretty sure it's from House of Jupiter on Instagram. I got it in an extra large because I really like things to be really baggy. My shoes are downstairs, but I'm just gonna wear my Hokas. And then these socks are the brand Belega. You can see. They're my favorite socks for any sort of exercise. As always, I'm wearing these are the Bose Quiet Comfort. I got them like 2 or 3 years ago, so they're probably old now. Like, they probably have a new version, but these are my favorite. Anyways, it is now almost 6 o'clock, so let's go to the gym. All right, let's get on our way. That beeping is gonna drive me insane. Today I am trying a new flavor of Alani Nu. I think I might have vlogged a little bit last night when I got it, but this is the Dream Float. I am gonna assume that it's really good because it was basically sold out at Target last night. Like, I think there was probably like 3 or 4 left, so. It tastes like an orange creamsicle, which is kind of what I was expecting because I heard somebody talking about it, but I wasn't sure which flavor it was. Like, I thought it was like the orange flavor, and I couldn't remember which one they were talking about. And then when I was at Target last night, I was like, was it this one? So there you go. If you are looking for an orange creamsicle Alani Nu, the Dream Float is the one for you. It's really good. I don't know if it tops cherry slush. Like, cherry slush is just the best. I don't know what it is about that flavor, but this is really bringing me back to like a month and a half ago when I used to come like every single day to the gym. I really fell off, guys. I tried really hard not to, but it's like very hard to continue doing something that takes a lot of not only like mental effort but physical effort when you are mentally like not in a good place. And it's not necessarily that like I was mentally in a bad place, but I feel like I've just been kind of in like a mental slump recently. Like, I've definitely had worse mental states, but I've just like been in kind of like a slump where I feel like none of the like everyday tasks that I was doing that weren't like essential, I really just didn't have any energy to do them. Like, some days I'll do the full get up, like hair, makeup, all of that, and I'll be excited to do that and have a lot of energy to do that. And like when I'm in those moods, like I feel good, but then I'll just go through like a period of time where I just feel really low, and it's like hard for me to do those like self-care tasks, let alone, you know, force myself to go move my body for like an hour at 5 in the morning. So I was really going through a slump, but I'm feeling a lot better now, and I'm hoping that I can get back into it. I'm thinking about like seriously getting an actual gym membership. Anyways, I am going to go work out, and I will update you after on how it went. First day back in a long time. I feel like if I actually had a gym membership, I would feel more inclined to go because I would have to pay for it. I'll have to think about that, but I think I've mentioned this before. The only one that I would actually like consider going to near me is like super expensive, so I would really have to think that through. Hi everyone. Not looking my best, but had a pretty good workout. I walked on an incline for probably, I don't even know, maybe 20 minutes. I ran for 10 minutes, so basically a mile, or exactly a mile, and then I walked for another 5 minutes. I am going to go get some gas right now. Hi everyone, it is Saturday, April 13th. I have just done some reading. I don't know if you guys could tell, but I am now on The Assassin's Blade, which is the series of novellas for Throne of Glass. I finally finished Crown of Midnight. Let me show you. These are the first two books, Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight, and these are all of my annotations. I might have gone off a little bit. Both of them I ended up rating 5 stars, and it's just like really solidifying for me that Sarah J. Maas is just probably my favorite author of all time. And I'm obsessed with her, and I would read anything that she ever released. I am now on The Assassin's Blade. A lot of people, I think I've mentioned this probably like 3 times in this vlog already, but a lot of people say that you should read Assassin's Blade first before Throne of Glass, but I decided not to because Sarah J. Maas herself says to read it Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, then Assassin's Blade. And I'm glad I did it that way because I'm really enjoying it so far, and now it's going to be nice to be able to go back and get some more backstory. I mean, after I read Assassin's Blade, I'll update you guys and let you know what I actually think and if I would recommend doing it the way I did it or the other way. But as of now, I don't regret my decision, so that's always good. But I really wanted to come on here and show you because I spent a lot of time today reorganizing my room and rearranging my room. So my room looks a lot different than it did beforehand. I'm just the type of person where I get like really burnt out if my space is the same for a really long period of time. I really like to change things up. I like my environment to be fresh and new, and I like kind of making my environment feel exciting, and I do that by rearranging stuff and moving things around and trying new things. So I spent today kind of rearranging my room, giving it a new layout, and I wanted to kind of show you what we ended up with, and also that way like in future videos you're not like confused because my room looks a lot different. Okay, so this is the door to my room where you enter, and then my closet's over there. It's a complete mess right now, so we're just gonna pretend that that is not there. But I have this like full length body mirror right here behind the door, which I really like having it behind the door because it doesn't take up a lot of space and it can kind of just be here like inconspicuously. And then this is what the room looks like now. So I'm standing right in front of the like door to my room. First we have my papasan chair right here. I like to move it around a lot, so you know, it's not really close to the wall right now, but it might be later. I just like to move it around, get different angles, whatever. So that's right there. It has a lot of space to move around. And then we have my poof here in front of the bed, which is kind of like a footrest for my papasan chair. And then I have this lamp, which is pretty new. It's kind of like a wicker rattan, I don't know how to say it. I think it's rattan lamp. And one thing that's really cool about it is that the light bulb can change colors. So I have this remote. So I can make the light like, this is pink, I can make it blue, green, light blue, yellow, orange, pretty much literally anything. And then I can do like a warm light, which is what I had it on, or a cool light. I'm more of like a warm light kind of girly. So yeah, that's there. I really like that, having that next to my papasan chair. And then this is my TBR cart. As you can see, heavily in my Sarah J. Maas era. My bookmarks and random plants and stuff. And yeah, these are my shelves. We have my fantasy shelf and like YA fantasy, dystopian, Twilight, like anything that's kind of like super magical is there. And then down there I just have my my humidifier. Sometimes I'll, you know, bring that out, but I'm not currently using it, so I'm just going to store it there because I have this like big shelf on the bottom of my bookshelf, and I don't like to put books that I like really care about down there because Cleo will chew on them. So right now I just have books from college and my humidifier. And then on this one I just have my little reading pillow that I put on my bed sometimes. And then this is like my romance shelf. And then down here I have like thrillers and like mysteries. So yeah. And then over here we have Cleo's little mini cat tower and my nightstand, which I just keep random stuff in there. These are all the books that I'm currently reading. Obviously we have my Kindle first. I'm reading The Duke and I, which is the first book in the Bridgerton series on my Kindle, so I have that here. And then we have The Assassin's Blade, which I was just spending some time reading. And then I'm also reading Wild Love by Elsie Silver, which I've heard amazing things about, so really loving those books so far. And then I've moved my bed, so now it's in front of the window. I just think that this is going to be a lot better for me waking up. Like, I think having the light on my face is going to be nice. So, but also I get direct sunlight in my window, so I think having the bed there will help diffuse some of that direct sunlight, which can kind of make my room really warm and really like kind of sweltering in the warmer months. And then over here I have my writing corner. This is where I sit down and write my books. So my computer, my keyboard, my little owl lamp, which I love her. She is so cute. And then up here we have a little reminder that the first draft of everything is shit, which is a really helpful reminder when I'm writing because sometimes I'm really hard on myself. So yeah, this is just my little tiny writing desk. It's awesome. I think I'm gonna get a new chair for it though, because this chair is the like crisscross one that's like viral on TikTok or whatever. And I'm just like not really obsessed with it. I might end up getting a different chair for that. And then over here we have my little mini bookshelf, and this just has a lot of my like favorite books that I've ever read. Then we just have these like random wall art things from Target and all of my knockoff jelly cats on the top there. And then we have my air purifier. And then over here facing the bed is my TV and my dresser. So I currently have some terracin ambiance going on from Throne of Glass because I am heavily in my Throne of Glass era. One thing about me is that when I'm reading fantasy series, I am always going to search up the name of the book and then the word ambiance after it on YouTube and put that on my TV while I'm reading because I just think that the ambiance really adds to the vibes and makes it a much more wholesome and complete reading experience. That's my new room tour. I'm really enjoying it so far. I mean, it's literally been a few hours. I just did this today, but we'll see how it goes tomorrow when I wake up, and hopefully I don't regret moving everything around. Anyways, that is going to be it for me in this vlog today. I really hope you guys enjoyed the vlog. It's a little sporadic. We had clips from random days in the past couple weeks, but I just kind of wanted to make something, compile some of the things that I've been doing, talk to you about some of the things that I've been doing, give you an update on where I was, kind of just like reintroduce myself to vlogging because it has been like a month since I've posted anything. But yeah, that's going to be the end of the vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more book content and just lifestyle vlogs, things like that. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful day wherever you are at and whatever time you're watching this video. And I will talk to you very soon in my next one.